Hi, guys. Welcome to Back to Basics. Thanks for the overwhelming joy that I received from all you guys in the comments and the appreciation of all the subscribes and all the well welcome that I've got. Uh, the teaser that I put on YouTube, the audio that I have posted on all the podcast platforms that I've put on. I'm just overwhelmed and thank you very much for all the support and love that I get from all you guys. We will be posting every Friday, once a week, and there will be multiple variety of categories that you just cannot even imagine. We'll be going, as I said, more into culture, more into IT, technology, mindfulness, food, and you got plenty more to go. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about restaurants. We're talking about where we can dine in and dine out. And this is a place that I think it will be nice for all of us, a nice change after this whole pandemic finishes. But during the pandemic time, this restaurant has done over and beyond their expectations of delivering proper quality food to the customers around us. They are based out of Madison, New Jersey, and he is well renowned chef in that area for the last 21 years. Um, his name is Tushar Patel, and we will be speaking with him by the
No.
way.
Yeah, thanks.
To
Great.
the show. This is Back to Basics. We're trying to get to the root of where you started.
Yeah.
I've been looking at your website and I've been looking at the business talks. It seems like you give a lot to people besides just the restaurant stuff. So we'll talk about the little restaurant stuff and where it all started.
Right.
From what I read,
Hmm.
is that you started with the
So how did this
on a roll started? I think it's 21 years that it
Yeah.
started.
So
And
21
then
years, I've always had a passion for the food industry, and just a love for it so much. And I turned my passion for it into, and hobby into a business.
Mhm.
Um, and then, shortly after starting business, it's like you're sitting there, you could cook as much as you want for people. But if you're not getting the numbers coming in,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. So I had to, that was probably like the first real, like, I guess setback that I faced, and so early into it. So I branched out into the catering from that point.
Okay.
So once I did that, and my name started getting out there in the local areas and stuff with catering, business just started taking off. Took off at a pace I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So and then we just kept going from there. Um,
But Tushar, when I read this on the website, it one of the sentence really got me.
okay.
It actually said that you kept on experimenting and experimenting, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden that just became like a hobby into a business. Is
Yeah.
that a true statement?
Yeah, and experimenting just meant at home, hosting
Yeah.
parties family wise. We're Indians. We have big families. We're always throwing big parties.
Yeah.
Well, so that's where it first came into play. My
Yeah.
father and I, we took over Thanksgiving dinners. We took over any of the holidays, uh, and even like birthdays and celebrations and things. So, my family, just on, mom and dad, like heck, you're looking like 90 people deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, 17 brothers and sisters between the two of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So obviously I know what your restaurant is, but not a lot of people know it. So on this podcast, I mean, so is it a Indian restaurant or is it multiple variety of items in there?
We pretty much, our core is continental American, and then we have an international flair. So there's a big part of harvest in that. Um, it doesn't all just mean vegetables and produce and meats and things, proteins and things like that. So the harvest to me is what I've tasted over the years, what I've experienced. So like that's all, cultivated into what I want to give my customers, the experience I want to give them.
Okay.
So that's like a piece of it. And there was another piece with the harvest that was within me personally. I was working through uh, a rough period in life, and during that harvest, it is the farmer's toughest time because he's working sun up to sundown, well past and well before half the time.
Mhm.
So the name and everything came in after 21 years. It was we missed a little bit of that, but I had to go from a child that I birthed into a business
Mhm.
into adulthood,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
where I want to take the business into the next next 21 years, if not more.
Okay.
So
So now we know a little journey of that and how it transitions between one and one, right? So now the question is, on a roll, where did that name come from, and where did Harvest name came from?
I mean, on a roll, think about it. Uh, there's how it was a name that was already given to the business, right? So, and I get that question all the time. So you go into a deli, you go into you know a sandwich shop. Well, first question is, hey, what do you want? What kind of bread you want your sandwich on?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the roll. So there's the name for that end of
So
it.
so you started as a deli guy,
Yeah, exactly.
and then you just expanded, and then where did this Harvest came in play?
Well, the harvest came into because I wanted to open up for dinner. You're not going to go to Honor Roll for dinner,
Right.
right? It's a tough name to pass off as a dinner place.
Okay.
And so we, again, like I said, prior, getting this all into play and thinking about a name to really give the customer's experience. The experience that I went through, we came up with Harvest Bistro.
Okay. Okay.
So
So and this restaurant is based out of Madison, New Jersey.
correct.
Okay. And where is it exactly? I think you said it was in the corner of some street. I don't know that place, but
So it's located at 50 and a half Main Street. So we're in between. There's a cut. It's about a stone's throw away from the actual center of town where we have a Madison clock. So
okay. Okay.
the cross streets are Central and Waverly and Main Street. So it's just a couple of storefronts up on the right hand side heading west.
Oh, nice. And this is a bring your own bottle to the
Yes.
place.
Yep.
So
BYOB.
then, yeah. Well, there's a bunch of people that I know who loves that concept,
Right.
and I'm
And
glad that you do.
right. And for now, the time being, our dinner business is actually shut down. We are doing strictly to go because our seating capacity has just, been hindered due to the pandemic. At
Yeah.
25%, it only gives us room for 16 people in house,
Sure. Sure.
and it just doesn't pay to have a wait staff, dishwashers, and everything on at that point.
Now, if someone wants to order appetizers and let's say lunch and dinner, what is your recommendation so then everyone can order that?
Wow, that's pretty wide.
Yeah.
So let's say go to lunch. I always recommend if it's your first time, if you want like a salad or something, our coconut chicken and red grape salad has been on the menu since day one. You know,
Okay.
and something to go on the side with that be our bowl of creamy tomato basil soup. Again, same thing. It's been on since day one. I always recommend trying out our sandwich specials. Very creative, fresh ingredients, and we switch them every 6 to 8 weeks. And we have our staples that on our regular menu, our balsamic chicken, our sun-dried tomato grilled chicken sandwich. So things like that, and those again, when you look at the regular menu, our standard menu, all of those things have been put together over the years and
Hmm.
have worked well for us. And our menu does seem big, but it's amazing how we funneled it down to having about 25, 30 pantry items to utilize for both our lunch and dinner aspect.
Okay.
You know,
Is there a restriction, dietary restrictions that you have there, like gluten free? You know how people they
we
have.
can accommodate most if we have notice, especially for catering. It's not a problem. For in-house, we do offer gluten-free vegan options, which is huge these days, as you know.
Mhm.
And again, if there's something there's an ingredient that someone cannot have in there, we steer them in the right direction.
Okay. Okay. And what other plans are there after this whole pandemic finishes? What is your are we gonna have, let's say, paper menu? Are we gonna have electronic now? Because see, when we, let's say, I'm just gonna give you an example. When we go to restaurants or even bathrooms, now they're not even telling us to touch anything. It's
Yeah.
gonna be all electronic. So do you have that same concept on your side?
Yeah, we do. So we do have a scan, a barcode menu and all that stuff.
Hmm.
That's available if customers choose to. We have paper. Some people are just used to taking a piece of paper and looking at it. Bathroom stuff we have not switched over yet. We haven't, put in any of the automatic serve or the soap dispensers and stuff. So we will incorporate all of that coming, you know, in a few months.
Okay. So here's a question: between, do you think that people they lose the actual taste of the food if when they go to the fast food versus a restaurant?
Wow. They lose their taste of what food
Well,
should be.
for
Like,
example, you get a hamburger, let's say,
yeah,
right? And there's so much of oil, so much of salt and sodium. Do you think that they lose the sense of the flavorness of the actual Harvest Bistro? Do you think?
of course, because you cannot, you just can't compare the ingredients. When you look at the fast food chains, won't name any in particular. There's so many different fillers, so much other stuff that they put in there, as opposed to coming to my place where if I'm gonna put a burger on as a special, you're gonna probably have no more than 5 ingredients
Yeah.
when it comes to the actual patty. Some spices and maybe a chopped onion or something in there.
Yeah.
But you're gonna taste the meat as opposed to tasting the other stuff to
Yep. Yep.
keep it fresh for this time.
So let's go back to the COVID part of things and the pandemic part of things, if you don't mind. So I have been told on one of the YouTube videos that you have mentioned on one of the business talks. I'll put that on my no show notes on there. Um that you have not cut anything out of the cost for all the employees, have you?
No, no, I've pretty much tried to maintain my staff as much as possible. We've had to cut back hours, and things like that, but I've tried to give everybody a fair amount of time in, so you know they don't have to lose their jobs. They don't have to claim unemployment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's already a burden on the country itself.
Yeah.
Whatever you know I think the person who's taking the biggest hit is myself,
Sure.
unfortunately. But listen, we all have to make changes, to help each other out. It's not just there's no I in team, right? So
No.
my staff is part of me. It's my family, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we they cover me a lot. They put out they come to work every day and give me their best. You know,
So I
so
mean, I mean, I found out yesterday or the day before that the government is allowing above 65 to get the vaccine.
mhm,
Now, someone that I know who's trying to register for that, they're saying 8 months from today. That's just one example.
right.
So could you just imagine? I mean, it could be more than a year that we kind of get back to normal.
Right.
Do you agree with that? I mean,
I I do. And I have family in medical field. They think it might be a little bit quicker. Um,
well, I mean,
this all depends.
maybe for them might be quicker because they're on the front line.
Right, right. But I think overall was my question to them. And and I think once they figure out that if this vaccine does work, I guess they'll, production wise, I think it's fairly. I can't speak for the pharmaceutical companies, but I'm
Of
guessing
course,
it's easy to make.
of
You have a
course.
recipe, follow it, mass produce it,
Yep,
get it to the public. You
yep,
know,
yep.
so
So, regarding your menu, what is your speciality? I mean, is it more chicken, more steak, more what in there?
I'd say it's a nice balance of everything. And like you can come in and get a salmon salad. You can come in and get a really good, uh, fresh roast beef sandwich.
Yeah,
so there's enough to complement everybody's taste and what they're looking for. So that's why when I said earlier, like the menu is so big, it looks overwhelming, but like I said, we've narrowed it down to so much that we can use the one ingredient to, 15 different dishes,
Hmm.
and I'm not just talking about your spices. I'm talking about, the main pantry items.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So, um, on the website is all about Harvest Bistro, and Tushar's been there for X amount of years and all that stuff. But I, I, I think when I have spoken to you many, many times, and other shows, it seems like you do more than just the restaurant stuff,
yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
So explain that to me, what that is, so then other
Personally,
people know.
business wise,
What's that?
personally, business wise, intertwined. There are a lot of things. I have my hands involved. I'm active in our community. I give, I help out as much as I can to our schools, our churches, our non for profits. I sit on a couple boards. It goes on, and you gotta, like I was talking about in one of our other podcasts. There's, you can't have unity in the community, right? If it's not working all together, right? And that's pretty much like my philosophy. You know, that's why, like, when you break down some of these words and things, it gives you a better perspective on how to, operate in life, I guess.
Yeah,
And, like I'm big. I'm always ready to pay it forward. Because it was for me
yeah,
on so many different levels.
yeah.
You know, um, and then the business end of it. I want to come out. I have a name. I have a product list already for dressings, marinades, and dips. you know, and we're working on that. I have a hub and spoke concept. I'm pitching to a few people to have one central location that maintains the quality of the food, and then we just ship it out to a dozen, 15, you know, quote unquote, Harvest Beast Show
So
internal
so
franchise.
so that is your forecast for the next, what, 5 years?
5 years, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So
And
I think
and then
some of it's gonna hopefully happen before the end of this year. You know,
okay, okay, good. I hope so.
yeah.
And I'm glad that the journey that you've been, a tough journey, tough hurdles.
Hmm.
But I think you're in a better place and better focused. And as I said, I think the people that I'm gonna bring into this show, and thank you that you joined this show, is we just want to go to the basics, because sometimes yes, I understand, to make money, to make the name, make the fame, but at the end of the day, you want to get to the basics as to why did you start this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not all about money. Money will come and go,
Right.
but one main thing is going to be the basics.
True.
And during these pandemic times, we forget to laugh, we forget to sit down and relax and have a beer and all that, but at least you have your goal, and I think you're happy the way I've talked to you in the last several weeks now on this.
Yeah,
Eh,
definitely. Two things I say that money cannot buy is peace and joy. Obviously,
yes,
that's something that's either you have to work for
yeah,
and you have to live it.
yeah,
So if you can, things like this, aren't gonna ruffle your feathers that much.
yeah,
You're gonna go with the flow. You're gonna have to pivot a lot, as we have in the restaurant business,
yeah,
and you have to make adjustments. And those adjustments are, they put a crunch on you.
yeah,
They
yeah.
big squeeze.
They do, they do.
But if you can manage it and you have solid men and women around you that speak into your life and mentor and help you mentor you through life and stuff, it makes it that much easier too. So I
Okay,
have a
okay,
great support staff. You
good.
know, yeah,
So we're gonna take a quick picture, if you don't mind.
sure,
This is like one of the new formats that I have started, and
okay,
it will keep on going for every podcast shows that I have.
uh-huh.
This is something new.
Okay,
Uh, just peace out. There you go. Awesome.
Good.
So I'll post that on my Facebook and the Instagram and Twitter. Please follow. And hopefully, I'm glad that you joined this show. We will meet in the future for sure, and I think we plan to come to your restaurant.
Okay.
I will keep in touch with you on that part.
Excellent.
So before I sign out, I just wanted to give a last quote that last quote of the show, basically, right? It's going to be, fame itself doesn't really afford you anything more than a good seat in a restaurant. That's by David Bowie. So I think that actually represents you and represents the Harvest Bistro.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're happy that you joined. Thank you again, Tushar.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So guys, we're joining Back to Basics, and I just want to sign out by the last words that I'll be saying in every show. Everything in life is going back to basics no matter what you do. Thank you again, and we will be back next week. But thanks for joining and thanks for subscribing.